All right, students, this is going to be a demonstration of how to use the the beat counting rhythm practice grid that you were introduced to earlier today. It's an assignment in week 5 of the Google Classroom. So let's go to the classwork section, and I'm just using third period as my classroom, so it's the same for all of your classrooms. Just so there's not any confusion. Go down to week 5, click on the assignment, and view the assignment, and then you will see the information. The assignment is attached down there. Okay, so you click on that, and it's going to bring you to this website, this assignment, I should say. And then the first thing that you have to do is open your metronomeonline.com. So you click on the Metronome Online, brings you to the Metronome Online website, and then you can set your speed that you want to practice. I recommend using a slower speed to start off until you get used to this. You can use a speed between 40 and 72, and that should be nice and slow for you to be able to react. 60 is usually a great slow speed. It's not too fast, not too slow. I'm going to choose a slightly higher speed, maybe maybe I won't. Maybe I'll use a 60 speed. So if you select the speed, it'll start, and if you want it to stop making the sound, you just hit stop. Okay, now that it's open, you can always turn it back on and use it for your practicing. And it's in a different tab there at the top. So the way that you use the beat counting practice grids, there's 2 grids, okay? Each one has 4 lines labeled with alphanumeric code. So it's A1, B1, C1, D1. Those are the horizontal lines. And in the second grid, it's A2, B2, C2, and D2. Right? The up and down columns are the beat positions, okay? If you look down in your beat number symbol bank at the bottom where you see all of the sets of colored numbers, okay, you have 2 different sets of numbers. They're both the same colors, okay? But the first set has no parentheses around them, and the second set has parentheses around them. The first set represent beats that will be sounded either by counting or clapping. So we will hear you say the number, or we will hear some kind of a clap or other sound depending on what you're using to make the sound of your beats. The numbers that have parentheses around them, those are beats, I should say, that are silent beats. Okay, so what that means is there's a beat that happens at that beat position, which you'll see once we put the numbers up onto the grid, but they are silent, so they don't get a sound assigned to them, and the only sound you would hear is if you had a metronome that was going in the background to help you keep the beat steady, your performance of the beat steady. You would hear the metronome, and that's all you would hear, because you would not say the number or do a clapping or other sound to perform that beat. Okay, you would just hear the metronome. So let's put some of these numbers up onto our grids and see how it turns out. So I'm going to drag the number 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. Okay. And the nice thing is that I've already copied and pasted a whole bunch of these. I think there's 8 of each different kind of number. And I like to keep them all neatly stacked at the bottom when I'm not using them. At least that's what I recommend for you in your individual copy. It just keeps it less messy, unless you have a set of patterns that you're practicing for a long time and you know that you're going to keep coming back to them, in which case you can keep them up there. Whew. So we put these numbers up here, and what this is going to be is basically I'm going to turn on the metronome, and then I'm going to just count off, and I'm going to say ready, go, and then I'm going to count along saying these numbers out loud, and I'm going to say the number at exactly the same time as the metronome clicks. Okay, and then if I do it right, it's going to have a nice steady feel from number to number. Metronome is started, 60 beats per minute. Here we go. Ready, 2, here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to try that again. Ready? And here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we can get ready to do it again. One more time. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now I'm going to keep the metronome on because I'm going to do the next thing right away. So I'm going to start switching out some of these beats for silent beats. So I'm going to take the 3 away, and I'm going to come over here to the 3 with the parentheses and exchange it. So what that means is when I get there, it's going to be just silent. I'm not going to say the number. All we're going to hear is the metronome. Ready? I'll start it again from the beginning. 2, 3, and here I go. 1, 2, 4. Okay, you can see I didn't perform the beat 3 sound. Okay, all we heard was the metronome. Again, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 4. All right, so now I'm going to put a series of numbers up using different combinations of silent and sounded beats. So I'm going to go all the way down through line 2 of the A line. Okay, now I've got 1 silent beat in the A2 line, and I've got 3 sounded beats. Okay, the 1 is silent, and 2, 3, and 4 will get a counted sound. So I'm going to count from the beginning of line A1 all the way across through line A2 to the end where I have that 4 highlighted right now. Okay, a 1, 2, and a ready. Here we go. 1, 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll do it again from the beginning. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you can mix and match depending on where you want your silent beats to be and where you want your sounded beats to be. And you have enough numbers here to do just about anything you want. And you can always copy and paste and make more if you find that you somehow ran out or you lost some of them, which is kind of nice. Also, you can select by left clicking on the slide because it's a background image, so it won't move if you click on it. And then you can drag your select tool across multiple of these picture files, and then you can move them around. Once you have the whole group, you can move the entire group around to a different space on your grids. And so it makes it very convenient to move large groups of these into a different position in case you want to rearrange them. You could just move 2 of them at one time like this, and you can mix and match them. So it becomes very useful. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the metronome for 1 second because I actually want to put more of these numbers up here for us to consider. So I'm going to just throw a whole bunch of these up, and then we're going to practice performing them slow and then medium and then fast. Oh, I made a mistake. Did you see what I just did? I put a number 2 in the beat 1 position. That is not going to work for us. We got to make sure that our 2s are in beat 2 position always. Okay? I'm glad I caught that before we got started here. Let's have a silent 2, why don't we? Maybe a silent 4 here. Maybe a sounded 4 here. Arrange these a little bit more nicely. All right, now what we're going to do is we are actually going to read the lines from top to bottom in the first matrix. Okay, so the A1 line, then the B1, then the C1, then the D1. And so your eyes are going to have to go from left to right, from A1, B1 position, over to B4 position, and then back down and over to the left to the B1 position, and then over to the B4 B1, B4 position, okay? And then you just repeat that process until you've completed your counting of all of these beats, okay? So I'm going to count again. I'm going to turn on my metronome, 60 beats per minute. Okay, now I'm going to count these all the way through. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Here I go. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. 2, 4, 1, 3. All right. So you can see when I got to the numbers that had parentheses around them, I did not say the number because those are beats of silence. Okay. So now I'm going to rearrange some of these so that they are actually covering other lines. All right, we're going to bring these up here. Somehow it did not catch all of those. That's interesting. Okay, and then I'm going to bring some more of these. And this is going to be kind of a giant, rhythm reading fest. We're gonna do all of the lines of both grids, and we're gonna do them straight through. So just give me a second to get this organized. I moved them all on accident. I didn't want to do that. There we go. All right, so we've got a whole assortment here, and what we are going to do now is we are going to read all of these beat patterns straight through. And the way that we're going to do it is we're going to go from line A1, which is at the top left corner, and we're going to go all the way across through line A2. And then when we finish that line, we're going to come all the way back to line B1, and we're going to go all the way across through line B2. Then we're going to come all the way back to the beginning of the page, line C1, then line C2, then line D1, then line D2. Keep your eyes moving from left to right, and then jumping back to start over again. And if you get lost, just, you can pause it, and you can, rewind a little bit, and then you can join me again. All right, so let's get ready to start from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, and here we go. 1, 2, 3. 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 1, 4. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. Okay. Now I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to show you a few more ways that you can extend this. All right. So based on what I showed you earlier with changing the patterns, okay, by selecting multiple groups of notes. There are many ways that you can do very interesting things here. So, for instance, what if I decided to change the pattern by switching the two A lines? So if I select all 4 of these, and I bring them over here, and then I select all 4 of these, and I scoot them over here, and then I take all 4 of these again, and I move them down here. Okay, and now you can see that I've just changed the entire pattern of the top line of both of the grids by switching all 4 of them around. Okay, now you can do that with any of these lines. You could take the whole line at once and you could switch them. You could also switch all of the yellow beat 4s in beat position 4 with all of the yellow beat 4s in beat position 4 in the other grid, like so. If I take these, set them aside over here, and then I switch them with these, right? They fit because they're beat position 4s, but they were a different pattern, right? So now our performance of the beats all the way across is going to be a little bit different because we just changed what kind of beat is happening, either a silent or a sounded beat. So I hope this gives you some idea of the different kinds of mixing and matching that you can do with the beat counting practice grid in order to practice counting. And you can also do this with clapping, steady beat in sync with the metronome. I hope this was helpful. We're going to have additional videos using this counting practice grid, covering metronome practice at different speeds. Okay, so you can kind of work up through the different levels. Hope it helps. Have a great practice session.